Questions here.
I'd just like to understand a couple of things about the photos. Why have they only just emerged? Why were they hidden for so long?
Well, basically, Pedro Polikoff, the press photographer that took the photos, had always assumed that Mumia had been guilty because he had been the passenger of Billy Cook's car. So he approached the district attorneys in '82 and '95, and they completely ignored him, and they would not get back to him. He stated that for the record in the official interviews that he did for German author Michael Schiffman's book. And Michael Schiffman discovered them for the first time in 2006, and we've been publicizing them since.
Okay, so they were discovered by Schiffman in 2006, and you've known about them since then.
Yes.
So why weren't they cited at the May 17th hearing?
Well,
I can answer that.
Yes.
In a circuit court hearing, you're very, very constrained at what can be done. The only thing you can talk about are the specific issues that that have been appealed from the federal court below. You cannot introduce new evidence. You can't introduce witnesses. There are no witnesses. There's no evidence presented. You're just arguing the points of an appeal on certain issues. That's it.
And where have they been published so far?
they've only been we journalists from Mumia, we published posters during the week of the May 17th hearings, and we have had that digital copy of that poster on our website for people to come and look at. Besides that, the very first place to publish it was the San Francisco Bayview newspaper when they featured David Love's article. And they featured one of the photos, the one of Police Officer Forbes holding both guns in one hand. And Michael's book, yes.
Yeah, they're in Michael Schiffman's book that was published in October 2006, which is called Race to Death, but it hasn't been translated in any other language other than the initial language of German, which it was written in. And these photographs are also in a documentary that premiered in London at the end of October, and in Rome, premiered simultaneously, called My Whole Life in Prison. And they're a part of that narrative of a young man who was born on the same day that Mumia was arrested, and him coming to America to understand the case and also understand parallel issues of structural racism in America, as well as suppression of dissent.
And when did they appear in the San Francisco Bayview?
That was the end of October?
October, yeah. So the Black Commentator edition was October 18th, and then it appeared in the San Francisco Bayview just a few days.
Did they put it online
after that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so those pictures are online yet?
Yeah, one photo's online. Yes.
So basically, even though these photos are out there would have to be a new trial for them to be introduced as evidence. And since the state seems determined to deny a new trial, that's the catch-22.
Yeah, to get a new trial simply with new evidence, as opposed to the Third Circuit ordering a new trial. To get a new trial on the basis of new evidence, the defense would have to, Mumia's attorneys would have to convince either state court or a federal district court that they had evidence which would, had it been available, this is where it gets very subjective, they would have to convince a judge that the new evidence, had it been available to the jury in the original trial, they would have most likely come to a different conclusion. And so what usually happens in these cases, and the more so when it's a politically fraught case like this, where obviously the whole legal system is arrayed against a new trial, is a judge will say, well, it may be new evidence, but with all the other evidence in the case, this wouldn't have led to a different conclusion. And since it's a subjective decision, it's very hard to get a new trial just on the new evidence.